Good morning, Star City Blood Bowl League coaches, and happy Memorial Day. Welcome to this Season 8, Round 6 update. We're going to just kind of dive into some things happening on the league. First, I want to give a shout out to the Atlantic Coast Charity Cup. So, the Atlantic Coast Charity Cup, if you haven't heard about it, is a tournament that's going to be in Chesapeake, Virginia, so near the Virginia Beach area. There's a significant amount of the league going. So, we've got a number of hotel rooms reserved. We plan to go up on the 14th, spend some time together, go out to eat, have a couple beers, play some practice games, and then on the 15th, there is a 3-round tournament that lasts until about 6 o'clock. There's tons of raffles. This is a charity event for one. So, like I said, tons of raffles. You can buy raffle tickets. Right now, they're trying to raise money for the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. So, the Chesapeake Bay Foundation essentially supports healthy rivers and streams. They use the money to plant trees, build oyster foundation, or not foundations, but habitats, fish habitats, help with coastal resilience. And so you can see the number of our members are kind of flashing up on the fundraising roll. It's $30 to come and play is the donation suggested. Any additional money you donate will go towards additional raffle tickets, or you can buy raffle tickets on the day of the event. Right now, we're already over $700 raised, which is really great. If you want more information, there is an ACCC channel on our Discord. So tune into that. Like I said, I think there's at least 12 of us, or maybe even 13 or 14 of us going. So if you're at least remotely interested in some camaraderie with the league and just wanting to get to know people a little better, plus meet some other people across the Virginia Blood Bowl, North Carolina Blood Bowl region, then feel free to come out. It'll be a really great time. It's always a really great tournament with a really good showing. Usually there's 50 plus people most of the time, so it'll be really, really great. All right, so let's dive into season 8 a little bit. So we're going to look at the standings right now, kind of how things have shaped up. So the Southeast Purple Haze got their first loss of the season this past round, so they're at 5 wins and a loss. Not enough to drop them out of that number 1 position, but was something that maybe helped people see that it wasn't a David versus Goliath match. But I don't think, in my mind, the New River Nightcrawlers were supposed to win that one, but the dice just kind of fell when they needed to at the right times. As I said, sitting at 83% win percentage, which is really, really great. Plus 6 net casualty or net touchdowns, minus 4 casualties. Still got 11 completions, which I don't think anybody comes close to touching in the league. And they have a Somberger score of 29, which is really, really good. Next up, we have the New River Nightcrawlers with their win over the Purple Haze, moved up from the 3rd spot to the 1 spot, which is good. They're sporting a plus 7 net net touchdown. I don't know why I keep saying that. Minus 1 casualty, which makes sense because we're hurting ourselves pretty often. And so 75% win percentage. The Northeast Reapers fell 1 spot to the 3 spot with 9 points, and that's really because of tiebreakers. Both their Somberger score was just a little lower, and it's probably because the Nightcrawlers were projected pretty high up with their victory over the Purple Haze. They got a lot of points for winning that match. And then we have a new number 4 in the Blue Ridge division, which is the Malice Powboys, who just bumped out the Kansas City Dark Elves with their win this round. They have a Somberger of 17. And so that's where these tiebreakers kind of come in. And if for those that don't know, the Somberger score is essentially a score that it gives you points based on beating better opponents and getting victories against them. And so that's really the main criteria. If you have a similar record as somebody else, but your wins come from opponents that say are lower in the ranking right now, then it may give you a lower Somberger, but it'll all even out by the time the end of the season comes around. The last 5 in the Blue Ridge is the Oathbreakers and the Corned Beef, both still very much within playoff contention. The District Decimators, Death Dodgers, and Marlin Bay Marauders are going to have a really tough time making a run for the playoffs, but if they win out these next few games, they could find themselves trying to edge somebody out for that last spot. Now, looking at the Mill Mountain Division, not a ton of movement at the top. The Talabine Valley Titans and the Blackwater Prowlers still holding on to that 1 and 2 spot. The Talabine Valley Titans are right now the highest scoring team in the league with 11 points. Whereas the Blackwater Prowlers and the Thunder Mountain Rampage, who have moved up from the 4 spot to the 3 spot, both sit with 9 points. Both of them have an impressive plus 15 net casualties, which is more than I think anybody. Yep, there was a plus 14 for the Malice Powboys. So they're doing their job of removing players. It's a lot easier to score touchdowns when there's no one else on the field. And then we have in the 4 position, the Passing Pathogens, a redraft team that was knocked out of the playoff contention last round, but was able to make their way back into playoff contention. The biggest faller right now, sorry, I have something in my mouth. Ugh. There we go. The biggest faller right now is the Black Pyramid Sentinels. So they were in the 3 spot last week, but because of their few losses the last few rounds, they have dropped to the 5 spot, which is just outside of playoff contention. And then we have Salt Life and the Stinky Skinks with 6 and 5 points. Both of those teams are very much in a possibility to make the playoffs. I mean, the Stinky Skinks have been playing really, really well their last 3 matches. They probably were having a little bit of a learning curve, learning the rules of Blood Bowl, things like that in the beginning, it looks like. And they've really picked it up, winning 2 of their last 3 rounds in these last 6. Those that are probably out unless they really turn things around and get some lucky things happening in the upper parts of the division. The Box Art Barons, Midnight Maulers, and Fuzzy Teeth Fingerlings probably are going to miss the playoffs this year, but anything can happen. We still have another few rounds to go. All right, so that is where we are in the standings. Let's go ahead and look a little bit at the honors. I like to flip over that now. I think I was doing this backwards before and doing fixtures, but let's do the honors. Right now, team honors. So highest team value is the Passing Pathogens with their 17 or 18, 25 or so rats on their roster. I don't know why, but Maurice knows why, and that's all that matters. Blackwater Prowlers, Powboys, Rampage, Titans, all playoff contention teams are sitting around 1350, 1400 team value. So you could imagine if you're hoping to be in playoff contention, you probably want to be around 1300 to 1450 is my guess right about now to be able to compete pretty heavily against these teams. Or be significantly lower that you're going to get some really good star players. Most fame right now there is one team with a dedicated fans of 6, and that's the Talabine Valley Titans. A whole handful slew of teams with 5. Most experienced right now, the Southeast Purple Haze have accrued 255 SPP on their team. The other redrafts are still in there. There's a huge gap, as you can see from the redrafts. The Kansas City Dark Elves are only at 122, while as a brand new team, the Blackwater Prowlers are sitting at 93. So only 30 SPP behind a team that got 9 or 10 more games, which kind of goes to show that, yes, redrafts are very powerful in early league, but in this later league near the playoff time, it does seem like they can be beaten. They can be leveled out a little bit by the time the season goes on, and these new teams really do have a chance the way this is shaping up right now. Next up, we have best performance. So right now, that's the Southeast Purple Haze, followed by the District Decimators, Talabine Valley Titans, Mountain Rampage, and the Reapers. So 67 to 51 points. Most scorer right now, 13 touchdowns for the Talabine Valley Titans, 12 for the Prowlers and the Pathogens. Best defense. So best defense right now is the Kansas City Dark Elves. They've only allowed 3 touchdowns against them this season, which is really great. That's what Dark Elves do. They play really good defense, and Ron is giving them props and keeping that true. Most beast right now, the Thunder Mountain Rampage have the most casualties caused, sitting at 23. Followed behind by Salt Life with 21 casualties, 20 for the Valley Titans. Most injured, of course, is the District Decimators with 21. The New River Nightcrawlers have taken 19 injuries, and the Fuzzy Teeth Fingerlings have taken 19 injuries. Most deadly, so the Black Pyramid Sentinels have caused 5 deaths. The Northeast Reapers have caused 4. And so there's 9 deaths right there. That's almost half of the deaths accounted for in the season thus far. Most dirty player, the District Decimators have committed 24 fouls on the season. Purple Haze with 19. Most sent off, so the Southeast Purple Haze are getting caught the most, so 5 sent offs. Most completions, more than double anybody else, is the Purple Haze with 11. The best stunty team is the District Decimators. And then as far as a best run goes, the Southeast Purple Haze ended their 5-game run this week, but they still have the longest run thus far in the season. The only team that could maybe take that over, I guess, would be the Talabine Valley Titans at this moment. Or I lie. I haven't looked at some of these other ones, but at least the Talabine Valley Titans, I think, are on the longest current streak. Worst run right now, the Marlin Bay Marauders have lost 6 in a row. So they've lost every game they've played in thus far this season. So looking at player standings, so we've got some high value players working themselves up the chain. Sneak Scuttle Spikes and Flicks Lateral, both with the Purple Haze sitting at 205. Piranha, a Bull Centaur Blitzer at 190. Lane High Tide Stevens at 190 and Elizabeth Bathroy at 190. Most valued big guy is Bradley Death Guard Hawken and Dirt. Looking at most valued stunty right now, there's not very high valued stunties at all. I think these are just base priced. Nope, there's a skink with a random, but the others are just base priced at 70K. Most experienced player this season is Elizabeth Bathroy. She's accrued 39 SPP this season. I'll be honest, where I coach that team, that is totally not really on purpose. I think it just happened more or less, which is good, but it wasn't meant to be that way. Flicks Lateral's gotten 33, so just 6 behind. Lucian Von Wigglebutt with the Prowlers at 27. Best performance. So Flicks Lateral, because of the completions and such, has the best performance at 19. Elizabeth Bathroy was 16, and then it kind of tapers off into the 12s and 11s after that. Looking at most scorer right now, it's Sneak Scuttlespite with 7. Lucian Von Wigglebutt has 7, and Elizabeth Bathroy's got 6. Most beast is Ellenher Geisler with the Northeast Reapers has 8 casualties caused. So that is a new leader, I think, taking over past Albert Rothman. I don't even, this may have been in the 3 position before, so maybe it was sitting at 6. But Albert Rothman and Angus Grudgebear and Biff Wave Treader Spiffy are both with the 7. Most injured right now is Sebastian, Lenny Linerider Curran, and Nate Beam. Have all been injured 4 or 3 times. Most MVP, Dongo's gotten the MVP 3 times. There's a handful of 3s here. High Tide Stevens, Kaorthek, and then Dirt. Most dirty player is King Julian for the District Decimators with 12 fouls caused. A couple people have been sent off a couple times. Hitchcock, Mushling. Most completions is Flicks Lateral. Next up behind is Roland Strobel and Sir Kenneth Stabler. Both of those with 5 apiece. All right, so that is our standings thus far and our honors. Let's kind of go into what's going to happen coming up round 7. So we've gotten, let's see, 6 of those games have been scheduled thus far. You do have 3 weeks to get this round in. Obviously, if we finish the round early, we can kind of push ahead the schedule a little bit if people feel comfortable with that. But it's something that is out there. If people need a little more time to spend some more time with their families during the holiday weekend, totally okay. All right, first up, Malice Powboys and the Corned Beef. So the Powboys are sitting in 4th place. The Corned Beef is in 7th. However, they have been picking up speed, winning 3 of their last 4. Whereas the Cowboys have kind of been a little up and down roller coastery as they've went through the season. You know, win, draw, win, loss, draw, win. You know what I mean? Their wins are kind of coming in spurts. The Corned Beef's playing a little better offense. They score just slightly more than the Cowboys. Defensively, the Cowboys have the edge by preventing more touchdowns being scored. And then brutal wise, they cause more casualties. They resist getting hurt more. And then they both foul pretty similarly, a little bit of an edge to the corned beef, but I doubt there's much fouling going on in this one. Fully healthy Orc team sitting at 14-10, lots of block, lots of guard, lots of mighty blow, leader block on the thrower. So a really great looking Orc team at this point. How many players we got here? 12 players, so they're pretty much locked out. If I was the Cowboys, I would pick up a Goblin just to have that potential turn 8 or turn 16 one-turn touchdown attempt if you need it. I mean, he can sit on the sideline the rest of the time, but it's a very good angle to have just in case. It may bail you out. If it's just one time this season, he was totally worth the 40K. Um, so that is kind of where we're sitting. Looking here, guard. Anybody can skill up. Nope, nope, nope. So all the skill ups have happened. 3 rerolls, 110K, 4 dedicated fans. So what we're looking at here is 1410 versus how's the corned beef looking? Healthy. That's good. Still no. Oh, I think they're 160. Aren't they expensive? How expensive are they? 160. So not enough to get a blood spawn yet. Next game maybe, as long as they don't get any kind of injuries. Um, Only 11 guys? Yeah, only 11 guys, so they're not going to have much of a bench. They do have a pretty strong front four, all with block, which is good because I know the biggins all have block on the other team as well. Dodge two heads, Corngore, block Corngore. Actually, still, I think they're going to struggle with all the guard the other team has, even though they have strength 4 and stuff like that. A lot of those big ones will look like strength 5. You know, the troll's going to look like strength 6, things like that. So it's going to be a lot harder. They may be throwing more 2-die uphills. They're going to have to be really careful with their frenzy that they don't get into a frenzy trap against these teams. What do I think that's going to happen? I think this one's going to go to the Cowboys. I'm going to say it's 2-1. Um, I just think that the problem that we have is that the corn gores just not the corn are not going to have kind of the staying power to get into a kind of a punching match against the orcs, and so they're going to end up losing players. It's going to be a lot easier for the orcs to just score. And then the orcs, unless they have some unlucky injuries coming off of their guards and stuff, I think they're going to be sitting just fine with 3 guard advantage. They should be just fine. And their main thing will be obviously trying to position those guards and things in such a way that it creates uphill blocks for the frenzy um, of the corn. So 2-1 to the Cowboys from this one. Next up, Kansas City against the Oathbreakers. This is actually a really good match. I'm actually kind of excited to see this one. Kansas City, I guess we'll go through the team stuff first. Won their last match after kind of faltering a little bit. 1.3 offense, really good defensively. As I said, the best defensive team we have. Brutal wise, not hurting a lot of people. They're resisting getting hurt. They don't foul very often. Oathbreakers, 1.2 touchdowns per game. They're playing really great defense as well. Brutal, they're hurting a little more people, which makes sense because they're trying to get into more fights. And then resisting, they actually get hurt a little more, probably because of those hobgoblin armor keeps that stuff going down. Dirty play, they don't foul or have not fouled at all this season. So what do we got? 10, 11. So a couple journeymen are going to be coming in. They're going to be missing a wrestle. 1180 plus, I think they're 70 apiece. 70 plus 70. 1320. Yep. 1320 against, is this a healthy 11? Oh, the Minotaur's missing. That's really good for the Dark Elves. Minotaur's missing. Minus 1260. So they're sitting in a pretty good spot. They're not going to give up too much. Maybe a keg, maybe a weather mage, maybe a mascot. Nothing too crazy. Kansas City Dark Elves. Still got Ligonius, Footspike, Lugrich Impaler, Razor Fist, Arcus. Arcus can get a dodge, which is great. Razor Fist can get dodge, which is great. It's going to be worth having. Um, so they could skill up another 2, which would give 100k inducements. I don't think that's enough to bridge the gap for the Chaos Dwarf. Sitting at 230k, it might be worth them picking up one more journeyman themselves or their second witch elf. They need their second witch elf. Why do you not have a witch elf, Ron? Ron, buy a witch elf. As long as you keep yourself below Hackflim range of inducements, I think you do it. I mean, I think for star player wise, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to try and get Fungus in there. He's not bad for the cost, just to hopefully hurt something. But it is going to be hard for the Oathbreakers, I think. Obviously, they have tons of tackle. They're going to be wanting to blitz with the tacklers as much as possible to try and get one hit on one of these guys at a time. Kick's going to be invaluable to kicking the ball deep against the dwarf team. Hopefully, they can kick it deep, separate them, and kind of get in there and score quickly. And he's got 3 skill ups. Block tackle, what do you get here? Sidestep, maybe? Sidestep and jump up go together really well. I mean, you could also get like strip ball and things like that would be really good if you're hitting with that one. All right, so what do I think is going to happen? I think this one's going to Kansas City. I'm going to say 2-1 Kansas City. All right, New River Nightcrawlers, Death Dodgers. So the Vampires bounced back from their loss last round. The Death Dodgers fell. They were kind of riding a high draw and fell from that. It looks like I'm going to get some. I'm going to get one player, so I'll be at 1250 against 1335. So a little bit of inducements for me moving into this one, unless I buy some players. I have considered buying a 5th vampire at this point. I don't know if that's really worth it, but I'm sitting at 120k, so I have enough to buy either a few linemen or a 5th vampire. I'll think about that a little more. Skill wise, there's some randoms that can be had, but nobody's getting any new skills today, it looks like. Still really got all my eggs in Elizabeth Bathroy, who's been doing really, really well. 6 touchdowns, 6 casualties, 1 completion, 2 MVP. So a very well rounded player. What do I think's happening? Obviously, the offensive abilities of the Death Dodgers have been pretty low. Well, for the Nightcrawlers at almost 2 touchdowns per game. They're playing good defense, hurting people, as well as their resistance is mediocre. Even though they have thralls that they're beating up on, they tend to be able to avoid hurting themselves too much. Dirty playing, they're both fouling at a similar rate. Um, Death Dodgers looking healthy. Have Mr. Crowley, Alistair, block dodge, block mighty blow, guard, block sidestep. So the couple players they have are going to be really tough to bring down. Obviously, the claws could be effective at removing some vampires if they get targeted. No skill up's going to happen here. So what do I think what's going to happen here? I think this game is going to go to the Nightcrawlers. I think it's going to be. I'm going to say 2-0. I think that the Nightcrawlers can play good enough defense if they can keep their players on. If not, maybe it's 2-1 or so. But I think 2-0 is my final guess here. Marlin Bay Marauders and the Southeast Purple Haze. Marlin Bay Marauders have lost 6 straight. Obviously, the Purple Haze dropped their last one, but they've been winning pretty handily thereon. Playing great offense. I think maybe the highest scoring team in the league right now. I'd have to look at the Titans scoring and the Prowlers. They're both up there too. But 2.1 touchdowns a game. Um, both of them are playing okay defense. Obviously, the Purple Haze are playing very well. Brutality. Purple Haze are hurting more people. Not resisting as much being hurt. Dirty player wise is looking like it's mostly in the Purple Haze, although the Chosen are definitely foul. They're willing to foul. Not a lot of skill ups have happened here. Not a lot of randoms have really went a great way. Tentacles could be helpful, useful if they can get it against things that are worth it, some snotlings or things like that. Brawler is not going to be super great because it can't be used on a blitz. Um, Block Mighty Blow, Guard, Disturbing Presence, Ironheart Skin. Whew. Jack. Jack. All right, Bob. Bob's healthy. Sneak Flicks are there. Gnaw Toe Cutter. Trit Worm Fang. 14 players, 345,000 gold. So avoiding injury, pretty good. He's going to get a skill. Maybe saving for a block. What would you have otherwise? What would you take otherwise? I mean, guard is actually not bad because it would allow you to get some good hits with your line rats. Um, I would probably take, if they can get normals, I'd probably take like tentacles. I think tentacles would be a great normal troll, underworld troll skill, would be tentacles. That's the move, Bob. That's what I would do, tentacles. Um, oh man. I'm going to say this is 3-0. I hate to say it, Jack, but I don't think you're bridging that gap. I mean, he's going to give you some inducements. You got to get 2 players, so that's going to eat up 120K of that. But I mean, you're really looking at what? Creek at best, Wither Grasp, Wrestle, Two Heads, Tentacles, Tackle. Wither Grasp, I think, is better than Creek. Can't afford Glart. Helmet. I mean, secret weapons just aren't the way unless it's Creek. But even then, he's scoring so fast. I mean, the only perk to Creek is he gets to stay on for probably half the game. Um, or if you're lucky, maybe the whole game if you receive and can actually work 8 turns. But 3-0 is what I'm calling this one. District Decimators, Northeast Reapers. So Ogres against Shambling Undead. Ogres lost their last match. Reapers are kind of riding a win streak right now, playing good defense. Brutality goes to the Reapers. Resistance goes to the Reapers. Dirty player, of course, goes to um, the District Decimators. What are we looking at here? Oh, look, you could get block or something. A double. Dodge. That would be kind of funny. Um, I'm guessing they're saving for a stat upgrade. I don't know. Mort could probably take a sneaky get here or a normal. Diving tackle. That's what you need to get. Then you could run this dude right in there to your opponent's ball carrier, stick it on there, sidestep around. If they try and dodge away, -2. Bam. Diving tackle. That's what you need to take here. All right. There's that team. What is the Reapers looking like? Lots of Mighty Blow. 4 Mighty Blow. Lots of block, dodge, wrestle dodge, block regen. Okay. Not a bad looking team at all. Looks like there's a skill up here. You could take Frenzy. Frenzy's a little rough to take in this one because of so much sidestep. It's probably a little sketchy. Um, I would probably take another guard if it was me, um, but that's my guess. All right, so what's going to happen? 965, 1300. So there's going to be some inducements. 335, that is enough for a couple things. 335. What do you take? Carla's a pretty good pick. I would probably take Bomber Cindy and a bribe, because that essentially equals three bombers. Bomber Cindy and a bribe, and then what you would do is throw the bomb to the mummies or the zombies, because they don't have the passing ability, meaning they could catch it, but they can't throw it back. So it's going to auto explode. So you can target zombie and mummy squares with your bombs and throw it. And as long as it's an accurate bomb, who cares if they catch it, right? Great, you're holding on to it. Boom, blown up. So Cindy Bomber, bribe, and what do you do with the other 100K? I don't know. I mean, you could get like a wandering Apo or something like that to bring one of your guys back. But I think you'll be sitting pretty good if you can make that happen. Throw the mummies, throw the zombies, blow a bunch of shit up, remove some pieces, and you might be able to hold something out. Now, what do I think is actually going to happen? It's probably still 2-0 here, is my guess. I think it's 2-0 Reapers. Might be 2-1 if Gerald can pull out a throw teammate touchdown, but 2-0. All right, Mill Mountain Division. Passing pathogen, salt life. Lots of, oh man, oh man, so much inducements. Do they need to get anything else? Oh, they're hurt. Okay, they're going to have 50K added to this. So 1635 minus 14, or sorry, 12. Did I say 50? 80. 355. Jesus Christ. Maurice. All right. Skyla? Skyla's 200. Hackflim. Grashnak. Borak. Borak. You have to take Borak. Oh my god, you'd remove so many players. Sneaky get, dirty player +2. Borak is a monster. And he's agility 3 plus, strength 5, so you can run the ball with him. All right, Salt Life, you got to take Borak. Passing pathogens, you got to drop some. Like that guy, I mean, you have enough money. I don't know. I don't think you could drop enough, really. A couple players can skill up with some primaries. I guess they're saving for something better. 1635. Ooh, what do I think is going to happen? Is this going to be a shocker? That's my question. Could be. I'm going to say that this one is going to go to Nick. I'm going to give it to Nick 2-1 is my guess. As long as he takes Borak and he fouls with him and gets some good removals, um, then I think you can work some stuff off. 2-1 Salt Life. Black Pyramid Sentinels, Box Art Barons. So, Black Pyramid Sentinels, they lost a double skilled up mummy. What was his name? Imhotep, a guard mighty blow mummy, died in the last game. Very sad. So brand new Tomb Guardian, still lots of mighty blow, block, block kick, mighty blow there. So really one route of this build right here, which is based on mighty blow. Not a lot of block, which is good. Still very slow. I I want to count on that Gerard can win this game because I think he's got the better team. I think he can wrestle mummies down, slow them down. Stand firm's going to be great. Um, this matchup favors Imperials. Will he pull it off? History says no. Do I go by my gut of no? This is going to be the time that I don't bet on Gerard and he wins. You know what? Fuck it. 1-1 draw. That's what we're going to say. We're going to say a 1-1 draw for this matchup. All right. Fuzzy Teeth Fingerlings, valid. Taliban Valley Titans. This is not going to be good. This is going to be, well, it's going to be good for the Valley Titans. Now, is there any inducements that can make this hell for 840? They're down 2 players. I think they're 50K a pop. So 940. 1355, 940. Yeah. All right, 415 inducements. Is he favored of? Favored of. Borak and Creek. Withergrasp. I don't know. How much damage does he want to do? Borak and Withergrasp or Borak and Creek would be a play. This guy can skill up. Got a double sitting there. Give him dodge or something. So he stands up more. Or tackle or something. This guy can skill up. He should have had guard already. Guard, something. I don't know. This point in the season, it's probably worth just randoming this guy. Although there aren't many good random strengths out there. I'm going to say 3-0 Valley Titans. I think the team's just, it's healthy. I think you could do some damage to it. I think you could make it regret beating you 3-0, but I don't think you can win this matchup. Midnight Maulers, Blackwater Prowlers. It's going to be another uneven matchup, I think. Maulers, are they healthy? No, they're missing their Minotaur, missing their runner. 2 inducements, so 120K on top of this. 920 plus 160, 1080. Oh, well, they might get something. 1080 minus 1425. Borak! I forget how much Borak is, but I think that's enough for Borak. I just want to see Borak play in like 3 matches. Yeah, 260 is cheap. I want to see Borak play in like 3 matches. Bring Borak. Pitcock's got a skilled up team. Does he have some skills to pick? No, not anymore. He's picked them all. What's he missing? The pro zombies is kind of nice. I mean, I guess for a random. Dauntless, I mean, maybe that pays off against a big guy. And you got pro to re-roll it, so couldn't be, or pro to a chance to re-roll it. I think he's building this team very strong. He's doing a good job. It's a little high in team value. How many players do they have? Is that why? Well, they only have 12. I guess it's because of the randoms, but they haven't turned out too bad. Okay, well, what do I think is going to happen? I think this is a 2-0 Prowlers over the Maulers this round. And last but not least, we have the Thunder Mountain Rampage against the Stinky Skinks. Oof. Well, what do we got? We got a Death Roller. Yay! I guess that was for funsies. We do have a block runner missing the game. Are they sitting at 11? Oh, okay. So you could score quickly, boot the death roller off. Has he got money? He doesn't have money. Score quickly, boot the death roller off. How much money you getting in inducements there, Stinky Skink? You need players, probably. You need one. 60K. What was their team value? 1115 plus 60. 1175 minus 1395. 220. It's probably not enough for anything crazy good, but maybe you could get like Estelle or something if you knew how to use her. Drool and dribble. Oh, they're so good. Although I don't know if they're so good against this one. Carla Von Kill. Boa Constrictor. Not really worth it. Grombrindle. That actually may be worth it. Sug. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. So we're looking at Zug, Grombrindle, Carla. The only thing that stinks is I don't think Hunter has the experience to take on a star and do really well with them. Drill and Dribble just looks so good. I think there's inducements here that would help. Obviously, Drool and Dribble would give them a little bit of a bench, which they probably need for this. Carla Von Kill is a great strength 4 ball carrier with Blodge. Estelle is really good with her powerful ability because she can stall them out one turn, which essentially means the dwarves, if she gazes from far away the dwarf like runner, whoever's got the ball, then they can't move for essentially 2 turns. They just stand there looking stupid, which stalls the dwarf cage. So if you do it on say turn 7, they can't score. Um, so that means they have to kind of set a pace that's a little faster than dwarves typically like. So they may make a mistake that opens themselves up to getting hit. Um, but as far as history repeating itself or doing anything crazy here, I don't think this one's going to go very well for the Stinky Skinks. They have some good players. I mean, they got some Saurus that have blocks setting up on the line. But this guard's going to be enough, I think, to give them the strength 4 they need. Obviously, the Death Roller is going to be doing some things. If they can remove a couple Saurus, it could get bad. I'm going to say this one's going to be 2-0 Rampage over the Skinks, is my guess. All right. And I think that is it. Yep, that is it. So, looks like the first game of the round is right now scheduled for tomorrow, which is the Rampage against the Stinky Skinks. So on Memorial Day special, if you're out at the game store, um, then go out there and check that one out. Everybody have a great round 7. Have a happy Memorial Day, and good luck this round. All right. Thanks, everybody.